Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael and today I've got some fresh okra here. If you can find it in your stores now or the farmer's market, or if you've got it growing, then definitely you take some of that, and I'm going to show you today how we are going to pickle it. And also I'm going to show you how you can water bath can it, because the way we're going to process this today, it is a acidic food and we can water bath can it. You don't have to pressure can it. But I've got my pressure canner here from Presto, and this one does both water bath canning and pressure canning. So I was going to show you how this operated today with this. If you don't have these and you've got the traditional water bath canner, then you'll follow the steps along. I'll give the instructions for that. If you are new to canning, this is one of the easier recipes you can get started with. So grab you a pound of okra. So let's get started now. I need to heat up my water bath canner, and I've got the water in it now. And this one has a marker in the bottom of it. It's probably about that far from the bottom. And you want to fill this up with water until you get to that marker. And on the front of the machine, when you plug it in, it's going to either say pressure can or water bath can. And so at that point, we're just going to press the button and we're going to can with water. And it's now going to tell me to fill my jars. So I've got pint jars here today, and I've given these a good clean, run these through the dishwasher. If you don't have a dishwasher, wash them good by hand. And I'm going to go ahead and fill these up halfway with water, and I'll be right back. When I picked up my okra, I wanted to make sure that I had smaller pieces. If you get the really big ones, they get real tough and seedy and woody. So you want the smaller ones. And when you're thinking about that, you want to think about your jars, and you'll be able to fill your jars up to the top like that. We want to leave a 1/2 inch headspace to the top. So if we need to trim someone off, you can do some of that. I might have some in here that are a little bit longer, like that one's a little bit longer. I might have to trim the bottom of that off on that. So we'll get to that in just a minute, but as you're picking your okra, make sure you're looking for something that's at least 3 to 4 inches long, and that way it would fit inside a pint jar. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take my jars. I've got those filled halfway with water, and I'm going to go ahead and set those down into the canner here. This is all still cold right now. All right, so I've got my jars in this canner now, and I've got them in there, and that weight of that water is going to hold those down. So I'm going to take the lid, and the lid itself has got marker here on the front that says install, remove, and then it says locked. So we want to look for the little marking here on the front, and we're going to put that down just like that, and we're going to give it a turn. And then I'm going to bring this mechanism down here, and we'll lock that into place. Now the pressure gauge is on that. We are not going to use that at all when we water bath can. So once we've got the jars in, we've got it locked, we're going to now push the button on the front. Now that's going to ask me, now see that zero flashing on the front is going to ask me how long we're going to can that. So I know this is going to take 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set that for 10. We'll push that again, and now it says warming jars. Now if you're using a traditional canner, take your jars, put them in the, fill them full of water, put them in the canner, and then fill your canner full of water up until you get 1 to 2 inches above the top of your jars, and go ahead and heat those up. Because we want hot jars, because we're going to have hot brine, and you don't want to take a chance on shocking the jars and cracking them. So go ahead and heat your jars up. This is going to take about 20 minutes in here for this to warm up. If you're new to canning and you've never canned before, then get your canner, make sure it's got a rack in the bottom. This one has a rack in it, and most of them do. You'll need a rack in the bottom because you don't want that, as it starts boiling, bubbling around and turning your jars over. So make sure you've got a rack inside your canner. So I'm going to go ahead and set this okra to the side, and we're going to wait for this now to tell me to fill my jars. In the meantime, the way this works is I've got another pot on the stove, and I've got it full of water, and I've got it heated up now. So once this gets ready to go and I get ready to close it off, I'm going to have to fill this one up with water until I get that 1 inch above the jar. So with the traditional ones, you're doing it now. This one, you're going to do it toward the end as we get the jars filled up. So I'm going to let the jars warm up. I'll come back and we'll talk about our other ingredients, and we'll get started pickling our okra. If you're looking for a gift, this would make a great gift on that, because anything that you can make at home and preserve makes a great gift, and you can give those out. You can take those to parties, or you can give them as great gifts during the holidays. They're great any time of the year once you get your harvest in, or if you just go to the farmer's market or to your local store and you find the items in season, then you can definitely just get them there and go ahead and make them, and you've got them preserved and they're shelf stable. And then if you need a gift, you've got one on the counter, and if you don't need a gift and you just love pickled okra like I do, then you've got them set to go. So let the jars warm up, and I'll come back and we'll move on getting our spices together for the pickling. All right, I'm back, and the canner just went off telling me the jars are warm, And if you're using a traditional one, when your temperature gets up to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit, just kind of hold it there. You don't want it really boiling. You just want them warm. So now let's get started making our brine. So I've got a stainless steel pan here. Definitely you want to use something that's either stainless steel or you want something that's going to be ceramic lined, because we're going to be using vinegar. Do not use anything that's got an aluminum in it, because the aluminum will react with the vinegar. It'll kind of put an off-putting taste in the brine, and you definitely don't want that. So if you've got stainless steel, use that. If you've got a ceramic lined pan, then definitely use that. So we're going to start out with 1 cup of white vinegar, and you want to make sure the vinegar is a 5% vinegar, and use the store-bought vinegar for that so you can control that. And I've got 1 cup here, or that's 240 milliliters, and I'm just going to put that into the pan. And I've got 1 cup of water, or that's 240 milliliters, and I'm going to add that to the pan. Now I've got a tablespoon of canning and pickling salt. Whatever salt you decide to use, make sure that whatever is in it, that the only ingredient on the box is salt. You don't want to have anything in the box that's like a preservative or it's got iodine in it, because that could interfere with the canning process. So the only thing that you want on your salt on the box is salt. And I've got canning and pickling salt here. This is 1 tablespoon. Now this is 1 teaspoon of sugar. I really like the way that that kind of contrasts with the vinegar that's in there. So you don't have to put this in there if you don't want to. I do like a little bit of sugar in it. So this is 1 teaspoon, and we're going to add that in just like that. Now I'm going to take a spatula here, and I'm just going to kind of go ahead and give that a stir through. I'm going to take this to the stove, and I'm going to bring this up to a boil. And I'm going to let that stir and to dissolve. And when it comes to a boil, I'll turn it off, and then our brine will be ready to go. Now, if you're making a bigger batch, this is just a small batch today, then you can double this recipe. And you might need a little bit more too, depending on how big the okra is. It's all going to be how big the okra is, how many you can get in the jar. If you can get the jar packed, and you might not need as much brine in it. If you don't get it packed as tight as I do, you might need more brine. So you might have to make just a little bit more. And if you need a little bit more, then make a half a batch of this. Use a half a cup, and then cut the other ingredients in half. So I'm going to take this to the stove, get this to a boil. I'm going to come back. We'll start putting our other ingredients in and start packing the jar. All right, so I got my brine heating, and now I'm going to go ahead and take one of my jars out. And you'll do the same thing if you're using a traditional canner. Take the lid off of it and make sure you turn it away from your face, because you might get a little bit of a steam bath, and you definitely don't want that to burn in yourself. Now I've got a jar lifter here, and this is designed for canning. Do not use tongs, because the jar could slip out of the tongs. You want something that's got some kind of a lip on it, that when you pull these jars out, they're going to be securely attached in there, because the water's hot, the jar's hot, and you definitely don't want to get burned. So I'm going to take this to the sink and empty this water out. All right, I just got through stirring my brine again on the stove. It's heating up nicely. I got one of my jars here. I took the water out of that, and I've got some garlic here, and I've got those peeled. And I'm just going to put one of those into the jar. You want 1 for each jar. And then I've got some dill weed here that I've got. Just went outside and cut some dill. Now I'm just going to take that and kind of pinch that in half. If you don't have fresh dill, then you can use dill seeds. And you can use a half a teaspoon of dill seeds. But if you've got the fresh dill, put your little sprig of your dill on the bottom of it. That'll be really nice for that. And then mustard seeds is the next ingredient here. And with your mustard seeds, you want a half a teaspoon. Just put those in the jar just like that. I've got whole peppercorns. We want a half a teaspoon of whole peppercorns. Now I've got some crushed red pepper flakes. If you don't want the heat in it, you don't have to put this in it, but I like just a little bit of heat in those. And I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon of the red pepper flakes. And that'll give that just a nice little bit of a bite to that. Not too much that it's going to burn you, but if, like I said, if you don't want it, you don't have to put that in there. All right, so I've given my okra a good wash now. I've had it sitting in this water ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take my okra now. I'm going to go ahead and pack it in my jars. And with that, like I said earlier, we want to try to find the shortest ones that we can find. I might not be able to get all of these in there, because some of them look pretty tall. And if I don't, then I'll just use those in something else, or I can cut the bottoms off of them and use them. All right, with these, we just want to put these in here. We want to pack them. You don't want to pack them tight that you're crushing them, but I've got them packed in there pretty good, and you can see the different sizes that I've got in there. If you get some long ones in there, I might be able to push those down into there a little bit further and get another one in. So that way, if you got one of the really long ones, I might be able to get one really long one in right here on the side. Yep, right there, that went down in there. And you can see what that looks like there with the ingredients we've got on the bottom. All right, now I'm gonna go get some of my brine solution. We'll come back and we'll start filling these up. All right, so I'm back. I've got my brine solution now. I've got a A little bit of a ladle here. I've got a funnel I'm going to put on the top of that. We want a 1/2 inch headspace on the top. So I'm just going to start putting that brine in there just a little bit at a time. All right, so I've got my brine solution in now. We want to make sure we go in there and get any air pockets that's in there out. We definitely don't want that because we want to keep that 1/2 inch headspace in there. So I'm going to give those a push back down in there and make sure we get any air bubbles out that could be in there. And that has changed the water level of my brine. So I'm going to take it just a little bit more. And the opposite side of this tool, each one of these marks is 1/4 inch. So if we go down to 1/2 inch, we want to make sure that we get enough brine in there to cover those to 1/2 inch. So just going to put just a little bit more in there to bring that up. Now I've got a paper towel and some white vinegar here, and I'm going to go ahead and take around the top and just make sure I get that clean on the top of there. We definitely do not want to leave any of that sticky residue on the top of that because that could interfere with our jars from sealing. And we're going to take one of our lids that I've got here in this water, and I'm going to take that out. And I've got a tool here. It's a little magnetic tool. We're going to put that on just like that. I'm going to take the band and put that right on the top to where I can get that down just like that. And we're going to turn it till it stops moving. And with that, we want this fingertip tight. So I'm going to grab a hold to the side of the jar and just twist it until it doesn't move anymore. That's fingertip tight. I'm going to go ahead and put this back into the canner and get me another jar, and I'll let you know how many I get. All right, I've got my last one here. This is my 3rd jar. I was able to get 3 jars packed nicely with that. So I'm going to use my thing here and we'll get it fingertip tight again. I'm going to put that back into the canner. I've got one more jar in there. You can either leave that in there or take it out. I'm just going to take it out. I'm going to set it here, and I'm going to move my jars around so that they're kind of equally spaced in there. All right, now that I've got that spaced out, I'm going to go to the stove and get the water that I've got heated up over there, and I'm going to fill up the canner here until I get 1 inch above the top of the jars that I've got in there now. So I'll be right back, and I'll go ahead and fill that up. All right, now that I've got the canner filled up with water, you want to make sure that if you're using a traditional canner that you get 1 inch to 2 inches above the top of the jars. And I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on the top of this one. This one has a seal on it, and make sure I got the seal there ready to go with that. So we're just going to put this just like here, lock it in place. I'm going to close this off. And again, I'm not going to use the regulator with this one. This one, with the water bath canning, you leave the regulator off. And then I'm going to go ahead and start this one up. So now this one is going to do its own thing. It's going to heat the water up inside. And once it gets to the temperature that it needs to, it'll start the timer coming down. This one, you're going to see some steam coming out of the top of this. If you've got a traditional canner, with that one, you're going to heat that up to a rolling boil. And I mean rolling boil. Once you get to a rolling boil, then you'll set your timer. You'll let that timer expire with the lid on it. And then you'll take the lid off, turn the flame off, and then you're going to let the jar sit in the canner for 5 minutes before you take them out. That way they can kind of get acclimated a little bit. This one's going to do that for me. Once the timer counts down, it's going to do the additional cooling down time, and then it'll let me know when it's safe to open the lid to take the jars out. So at this point, we're going to let our jars process. Now this time that I've got here, the 10 minutes, is based on an altitude that's from sea level up to 1,000 feet. If your altitude where you're at is higher than 1,000 feet, I'm going to put a link in the description box, and that will tell you how many additional minutes you'll need to add to the 10 minutes for your processing of our okra. Now, if you don't want to process the okra, just put it in the jars like you've got that I just did, and put the lid on it, put it in the refrigerator, and just let it sit in there. And that will do its own thing in the refrigerator. You won't be able to keep them as long in the refrigerator that way because they're not sealed, and you'll need to eat them. And the best way for those is to let those sit for a week before you eat them. A week to 2 weeks is the best. That way they get that nice vinegary taste to them, and they get pickled nicely that way. Same thing with your process. Once you take these out and let these cool down, the best thing for these to do is let them sit for a week or two before you open the jar. Your okra will have a nice opportunity for it to pickle. So we'll come back, we'll look at it, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, I am back, and I'm ready to take my jars out of the canner now, and you'll do the same with yours. And when you do that, just lift it straight up. You don't want to tilt it off. If you've got any water on the top of it, there's enough heat coming out of that will evaporate off the top of that. So don't turn it, don't tilt it while it's trying to seal down. Just lift it straight up out of the canner and just put it on a rack. All right, now that I've got it on a rack, I'm going to let it sit here undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours. We want that to cool down naturally. If you've never canned before, you might hear a popping of the lids, and that's telling you that the lid is sealing down. And that, I've got another jar here, and you can feel it. There's a dimple on the top of the jars that will go down when it's sealed, and that'll give you a good indication that we've got a good seal on those. So let these sit somewhere where they're not going to be disturbed. You don't want anybody to be coming and touching them because they are really hot and you don't want them to get burned. You definitely don't want those getting knocked over where they could potentially get broken. And then you've got hot brine and hot okra going everywhere. Somebody could really get hurt with that. So put these somewhere where they're going to be safe. They won't be touched. Nobody's going to get hurt with these. Let these cool down. And once they cool down, the rings on these will be loose on the top, just like this one is. I put this one on here just to demonstrate what it looks like. So whenever your jars cool down, you'll just take the ring off the top and you'll be able to pick it up to see if the lid is sealed on it. And so if you pick one up and the lid on it is not sealed down on it, then that doesn't mean that that jar is bad at that point. You can take that, put the ring back on it, put it in the refrigerator and eat it. And that one's still good to eat within that 24-hour time frame on that. So to get these to really fully brine, you want to leave them somewhere for at least 7 days to 14 days, and that way that vinegar will get into that okra and be nice, and you'll get a nice pickle on those. If you open them up now, it might not be as strong as it is if you wait a week to 10 days or 14 days on that. So, and you'll have a nice briny okra on that, nice pickled okra. So what we're going to do, now that you've got the ring off, we're going to put them on the can shelf. You'll leave the rings off. You do not put the rings back on when you put those on the can shelf. And the reason we're doing that is because if for some reason down the road, the lid on this comes loose and there's just enough pressure from that ring pushing back down on there, you could have exposed the food in there to mold or bacteria, and you definitely don't want that. So store them on the can shelf with the rings off, and that way you'll be able to tell if the seal on the top of that ever breaks. If it's not broken, you're good to go. If the seal breaks on it after it's been sitting on the shelf for a while, throw that one out. Do not eat it. That one is bad, could be contaminated. Don't take a chance with it, it's not worth it. So if you've got a good seal on those, open it up, eat them, enjoy them. You'll have a nice pickled okra, and you'll have those to enjoy or to give away as gifts, whatever you'd like to do with those. Once you get ready to eat your pickled okra, when you remove the top off of it, the lid off these, this is a one-time use only. You do not use that again forever for canning. You can use it to put it back in the refrigerator with the ring on it to store it until you get the product to eat it that you've got in there. But once you take this lid off of this, and you do not use it again for canning, it's a one-time use only. Now you can use the rings again if you want to. And with those, you just put the rings away. If they're good, they're not rusty, they're not bent up, they're good to go, you can use those again. But the lids, one-time use only. If you like this content, maybe you might consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And while you're at it, check out one of these other two videos over here on the side. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, if you don't want to can them, you don't have to. At that point, when you get them put in the jars, just put the lid on it, put it in the refrigerator, let it sit for a week or two. It'll get nice and pickly, and you'll have some nice pickled okra. If you do can it, then follow the same process we went through here today, and you'll have some nice jars for yourself or gifts, whatever you'd like to do with those. And I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment how yours turned out. If you do something different, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye now.